So with discussions of remakes being all the hype right now, what would we like to see in a remake for Sonic Adventure 2? I discussed 10 things that I'd love to see in the game right now. Hello there beautiful human, my name is RidersDX and welcome to my channel where today we're going to be talking about my hopes and dreams when it comes to one of my favorite Sonic games of all time getting the remake treatment, and that is Sonic Adventure 2. This game is iconic, it's amazing, it's a big part of my childhood, and just the idea of seeing it come back in any shape or form on modern hardware would just be such a dream come true. Like, I'm serious, it's such an exciting idea. I know that Sonic Adventure is like the big topic right now in terms of getting the remake treatment, but I really do hope Sonic Adventure 2 gets the same treatment as well, if not even more so than the original, just because I think Sonic Adventure 2 is just such a vast improvement over the first one in every way, and just to see it come back in the same way would just be amazing. And so here's my list of 10 things that I'd love to see in a remake. But before we get into that, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future. I've made a similar video to this with Sonic Heroes, and I've made tons of videos on an Adventure remake, and so if you'd like me to do this for more Sonic games in the future, then let me know what games you'd like to see this kind of video be made for in the comment section below. But alright, let's jump into the list. And number one, this is definitely the biggest thing that I'd love to see from a remake, but I'd love to see just the addition of more speed levels, because these are the levels that made Sonic Adventure 2 so great for me especially. I mean, Sonic Adventure 2 had a lot of great things, but definitely the speed sections are just some of the best examples of Sonic 3D gameplay that I've ever gotten to experience. And so being able to play through more speed levels, either having them just be flat out bonus levels or actually trying to incorporate them into the main story, would just be amazing. You know, being able to blast through these levels as Sonic and Shadow using the absolutely brilliant controls that Adventure 2 gave us would just be such a treat, you know? So it could be a situation kind of like the Insane Trilogy where Vicarious Visions made that future tense level, you know, just extra levels would just be such an amazing thing. And number two, I'm gonna kind of pick on the treasure hunting levels a little bit for the next couple of points, but they really need to fix the radar system if they're going to remake this game. And by fixing it, I mean just making it so that it's not only detecting one piece at a time, making it just like the original Adventure where you're able to detect multiple pieces at the same time depending on which one you're closest to. This would just decrease a lot of padding that these levels caused in the original version, and you know, it just makes a lot more sense. I mean, why is it a thing that I can be so close to one piece but it doesn't beep on the radar because it's not the immediate next piece that the game wants me to find? Like, no, that's just dumb. And number three, this is probably the most specific thing on this list, but you know what, I can't help it. This is something that always drove me crazy in Adventure 2, but fixing the hints in Mad Space and Meteor Herd. Like, the hint system in these two levels, it's absolutely trash, especially in Mad Space in particular, where the text just gets all jumbled up and it's really no help at all. And Meteor Herd, it's just as unhelpful, but I think Mad Space is just a much more harsh example of it. And these levels are hard enough as it is with how big they are and how the gravity really messes with you in terms of navigating it. You really don't need these hint systems to be so just bullshit. You know, a lot of people complain about the treasure hunting levels, and I really think these two levels are the biggest reasons why for it. And so if they can just fix the hint system, at least they don't really have to change anything else in my opinion. I think it would just make these levels that much more tolerable. And number four, this point might be a little bit controversial, but hear me out. I want to see completely redone cutscenes, and this may include completely redone voice acting. And what's really controversial about my opinion on this is that I don't necessarily need to see the original voice actors brought back for this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Ryan Drummond come back and just give me that amazing Sonic voice that I grew up with, but I've had so much time apart from these voice actors. When I was a kid, I was absolutely devastated when they changed over to the Sonic X voice actors, and I spent a long time resenting the voice actors from 4Kids because I really miss these voice actors in particular. But then I got used to the new voice actors, and I actually appreciated their interpretation interpretations of this story in Sonic X. And so I don't really feel the need to see these voice actors come back. I would love to see whatever the current Sonic voice cast is going to be make their own interpretation on the storyline. It's such a great storyline. It's such a great setup for a Sonic game that it really doesn't matter to me as long as they do a good job. I think the cutscenes in Sonic Adventure 2 are just so awkward sometimes, and the audio mixing can be so off as well. See these cutscenes completely redone in like a Sonic Unleashed format and have the voice acting just have better direction overall would just be such a treat. Doesn't really matter if it's original voice actors, great if it is, but if it isn't, it's not the end of the world for me. And number 5, this is kind of a weird request, but kind of hear me out on this. One of my favorite things when going through Sonic games is just replaying the story mode, especially if I do enjoy the storyline. But I would like the option to play through the storyline with just one type of gameplay. And what I mean by that is maybe I want to go to the hero storyline but just playing through the Sonic levels. Maybe I'm not in the mood to do treasure hunting or mech shooting, or maybe I want to do just the treasure hunting levels, you know? So giving me the option to play through the storyline but just going through those levels would be a small but awesome feature to implement. Another thing that I thought about while writing this idea is that you could even mix the hero and dark variants of the levels. So maybe I want to go to the storyline with playing all Sonic and Shadows levels, for instance. I think that'd be a cool idea. It can increase replayability and just such a fun way to kind of grind for those chaos drives to raise your chow. And number 6, a really small detail, but something that's really important to me. I want to make it so that whenever I select a level, that I can select the music that plays during the level, because Sonic Adventure 2 just has one of my favorite soundtracks in a Sonic game of all time. And so being able to like play Pyramid Cave with the music of Crazy Gadget, for instance, or playing through Final Rush with City Escapes theme, you know, just these silly things like that would just be such a great addition and make playing through the game that much more fun. And number 7, you've seen tons of mods of this, I'm sure, on YouTube, but making it so that the multiplayer characters are playable in the single player levels through stage select would be such an awesome feature. I mean, being able to play as Amy and Metal Sonic in multiplayer mode is pretty cool, so why not have the chance to play as them in the actual levels themselves? In fact, why not let Shadow play Sonic levels and Sonic play Shadow levels in particular? You know, just let all the characters go wild, you know? Yes, I want to shoot through robots using the Chow mechs. Yes, I want to play as Chaos and go through Pumpkin Hill. I mean, why not? Give me the option to. You have the characters there, you design their movesets, you put them into the game. Why not make it so that we can play as them? This would be such a small but awesome feature to implement. And number 8, focusing more on the multiplayer, I would love to see online play implemented into this game. More specifically, giving us the option to do multiplayer races and battles, and maybe even having a leaderboard set up so that you can race against people's times as well. Sonic Adventure 2 is one of the funnest games in the Sonic series to do multiplayer, and I don't know why, it just feels ultra competitive compared to other Sonic games. And so being able to do that online would just be such a great way to extend the replayability of this game. And number 9, focusing even more on the multiplayer aspect, making it so that the Chow Garden has online capabilities would be such an awesome thing as well. I would love it to be kind of like an Animal Crossing thing where you can actually go to people's towns or gardens and visit their Chow. Would be such an amazing thing. And you know, you could even try to raise Chow together with your friends. I mean, doesn't that sound awesome? You could trade like chaos drives, items, and whatever else, and just make it a gigantic community. In fact, it might as well just be its own game. Like I've been saying since day one that the Chow Garden needs to be its own separate game. But if it's gonna come back in this form, then I would love to see some online capabilities, because man, that's gonna bring this game all the way up to the next level, like I'm telling you. And then the last bullet point, this is kind of like something that I just came up with, but I think would be such a cool idea. I would like to see sort of a bonus episode here. You know, it's kind of similar to what the Shadow episode was in Sonic Forces in terms of like kind of bridging the plot and giving us some more details about what happened. So something I would love to see with Sonic Adventure 2 is some plot details on what happened after Adventure 2 leading up into Heroes. More specifically, how Dr. Eggman found Shadow and how Shadow ended up in that capsule that we see him in Sonic Heroes. So if we can have some levels and some storylines kind of bridging those two games together, it would solve so many questions and just be a really great way to increase replayability for Sonic Adventure 2. It's a little bit risky because you'd basically be adding on to a story that's beloved by so many people, but I think Sega can do it, and if anything, it would just be such a great way to kind of go back to that storyline, to that universe, and just really reminisce about what a great setup this game was and how awesome the plot was. But yeah, those are my 10 bullet points, and so let me know what your your favorite bullet point was in the comment section below, and let me know if there's something that you'd love to see in Sonic Adventure 2 that I did not mention, because I actually had kind of a hard time coming up with this list. I think I'd honestly just be happy to see Sonic Adventure 2 come back with remake graphics and remade engine and just everything buffed up and looking all modern like, kind of like the Insane Trilogy and then Reignited Trilogy. And so let me know what kind of things you'd like to see, and let me know what other games you would love to see remade, and maybe I'll make videos on those and talk about what I'd like to see in those games. But alright y'all, thank you so much. This is Riders, riding out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Special shout out to the Nerd Corner, Killer Lemurs, Team Ride with Sonic Gamers, Johnny Hinton Ortiz, Timebender, Jeremy Games, Amarillo66, Trash Q, Abraham Muter, and Mass Muter. These are my patrons / YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron or YouTube member, get access to a whole bunch of different perks, and please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.